Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm starting a series on my channel called DCOM Diaries, which will basically be me going through and watching every single Disney Channel original movie because I believe in playing to your strengths and DCOMs are my strength. So that's what we're gonna do. We are starting with a classic with an oldie. Wow, just it all came to the front. With an oldie, we're starting with the original Parent Trap. This is actually not a DCOM or a Disney Channel premiere film, but it did spawn 3 Disney Channel premiere films. This Parent Trap was made in 1961, and baby, you can tell. Okay, the movie starts with this like campy cartoon intro, and it's really bizarre. And then people's names are coming across the screen and it's like tears flowing down the names. Like, this is supposed to be the most sad, depressing movie. I was so confused because I was like, is this tone gonna be like this for the entire movie? It's not. So why they open like this, I'll literally never know. Like, with this intro, it comes with its own The Parent Trap song. Like, it's a song called The Parent Trap. It's awful. It's so terrible. And they play the entire song for 4 minutes.
If the love's on skids, treat your folks like kids, or your family tree's gonna snap.
So to make 'em dig, first you gotta rig.
What do you gotta rig?
The Parent Trap.
I was like, my God, why are we doing this? Like, why is this? I was so confused and I wanted it to stop, and it just didn't. So the movie starts, of course, you know, with them at summer camp, and you know, everybody's getting there and unpacking. And again, well, I wouldn't say again because I don't think this happened in the 1998 film, but every worker here is like old. Like, they all look like they're older than 50. And I'm like, are camp counselors not supposed to be young? Like, there's this one who gives me Dorothy Spornak vibes. You know, shout out to my Golden Girls watchers. She even looks, you know, late 30s, but I'm like, everybody here looks 50 and up. So in this movie, the twins, so the Annie twin is called Sharon and the Hallie twin is called Susan. Sharon and Susan meet each other a lot earlier than I was expecting them to meet. It's not no dialogue happens the first time they meet, but it still happens a lot sooner than I expected. They're in the mess hall, they're getting food, and I think they both reach for the same thing or something, and they look up and it's like, you know, you look like me. And there's just like this on-site beef. Like, you know, we make those jokes about like Zuko and Azula and stuff like that. No, I did not just reference Avatar. Whatever, it happened. Like, we know why they're fighting, but here it's literally just like, oh, you look like me? Fuck that bitch. Like, I wish I was being dramatic. I'm not. That's literally how it goes. Like, they're sitting in the mess hall. This is the same night, same scene. And one of Susan's friends is like, what do you want us to do about it?
The nerve of her coming here with your face. What are you gonna do about it? Do? What I never say can I do, silly? I'd bite off her nose.
She just looks, she didn't do anything to you. She didn't talk about you. She didn't hit you. She didn't hurt you, nothing. Literally just mad that sister looks like her. That's it. That's the whole beef. It's ridiculous. So in the scene, they find out that there's going to be a dance on Saturday. Now, we don't know how far into camp they are. This could be the first week still. This could be 4 weeks in. We have no idea. But we found out there's going to be a dance with the boys, I guess, like across the lake. It'd be like a Camp Rock, Camp Star camp dance. Susan goes and pranks Sharon, and it's similar to how Hallie pranks Annie, but in this situation, when the prank happens, only Sharon gets in trouble because basically one of the rules of being able to go to the dance is your cabin has to be kept clean. So it's like the night before, you know, cabin check, you know the scene. So because they come in and they're like, your cabin's dirty, they don't get to go to the dance. So they're bitter and like, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna get her back? Because they, you know, they obviously know it was her because who else do they have beef with? And one of her bunkmates gets the idea to cut her dress, like the dress that Susan is wearing. They run, get some scissors. Susan and the guy she's been dancing with come out because everybody exits the like little ballroom for like this weird intermission part. And so they're talking and doing this awkward flirting. And this is so funny to me because every 30 seconds, the boy she's talking to does this like, and is like adjusting his tie. And it's like, I get it, you're 12 and you're nervous, but my God. And I was like, are you okay? Like, I get it. I get it, you're 12. I really do. Or 13. but she's not even saying like some real flirty stuff and you already can't breathe. Basically, they end up cutting Sis's dress and they cut it like right at her backside. So her butt and her panties are out. And I gagged when I first saw the scene because I'm like, that's so embarrassing. Could you imagine? So of course, she finds out that her butt's exposed because her two cabin mates, Susan, sorry, I'm talking about Susan. Her two cabin mates are like, you know, hi, hey sister, your butt's out. And, you know, of course, she just automatically knows it's Sharon. So they go outside and Sharon and Susan are kind of having a little, you know, 1-2. And Susan slaps Sharon and then Sharon slaps Susan. And the actress forgot to do this when she got slapped. 1961, ladies and gentlemen, we were still getting the hang of it. We were still figuring out what it meant to act. Of course, our lovely ladies are sent to their isolation cabin where, you know, they're meant to bond and whatever else. And again, in this movie, you know, just like the other one, the Hallie twin, aka Susan, is just so oblivious when they start like connecting, like, you know, oh, my mom's alive but I don't know her, my dad's alive but I don't know him, we look exactly the same, and we just found out we have the exact same birthday and we'll be turning the exact same age. And Sharon's like, ma'am, can you
only think about your stomach at a time like this? At a time like what?
wake up, baby, I think we're sisters. There's something that I was avoiding talking about because I was like, I'll get over it. You know, I thought I'd get over it and I wasn't gonna mention it at all. But at this point, you know, we've met each other and so I know that they have to switch, and it hit me that Susan was gonna have to cut Sharon's hair to look like hers. I fucking hate Susan's hair. As soon as the movie started, I was like, my God, this looks so bad. And I know it's on the poster. I know it doesn't fix it. It's terrible. It looks god awful. It's so bad. It's so bad. And I was, oh my God. And it was like it just hit me as soon as they hug and are like, oh my God, we're sisters. I was like, son of a bitch, she is about to cut her hair. I really don't want her to cut her hair. Oh, because then they're both gonna look like this. And I just hated it. But of course it happened.
It's amazing.
Oh, it isn't. So now they both look like this, which is it's really just fun for me. It's really fun for me. So now it's time for Susan to go to Boston, because in this movie, it's not Napa in England. It's just some part of California and Boston. You think I made a big deal about her hair? At least I'm not her mother, grandmother, or grandfather. Yes, I said grandmother. There's a grandmother character in this movie. And she's so terrible, you know exactly why there's not a grandmother character in the 1998 version. Susan basically swindles her mother into taking her out for lunch so she can ask her about her and their father's first date. And she finds out it was at some Italian restaurant in New York, and she ends up asking her, you know, like, oh, what was your song? Did you guys have a song? And the mom's like, no. And then 7 seconds later, approximately, I went back after the scene was over and counted, sings the entirety of said song. It wasn't even like she remembered a tune. She starts singing lyrics too. I was like, you just said you don't remember. Just say you remembered. We could have just avoided the line of dialogue. I guess it was supposed to be like, oh, no matter how long ago it was, true love. But I found it irritating. And it was at this moment though, I was like, shit, this isn't a musical, right? Because I actually really didn't want this to be. I didn't sign up for a musical. And honestly, it'd been way too long without a song before this point, so I'm like, it shouldn't be a musical. But you know, like, I don't know what 1961 films look like, so maybe they all wait 25 minutes before they start singing. I don't know. So I got scared. Luckily for me, it's not. So now we get to see Sharon with her father, and you know, it's the same scene. She's at the airport, she gets picked up. Now I thought Susan almost fumbled the bag, because as soon as Susan gets to the house in Boston, when she steps out of the taxi, she says, here goes nothing in like an American accent. She's supposed to be British. And the taxi driver man's right there. So I'm like, here she goes, about to blow the mission right here. But that was her only real fault. Sharon, on the other hand.
Oh boy, are you still biting your nails?
Oh, you noticed. She told me that you...
That's one. Two, still at the airport.
Well, I certainly did enjoy all those nice long newsy letters. Yes, sir.
Oh, that. Well, we meant to write, but we just got so tied up with plans and things, you know, that, well, we...
Who's we?
What are you doing? Aren't you the smart one? So they're not even in the car yet. Now we're in the car, and she says father instead of father. Like, that accent slipped up, and he, you know, notices and kind of mocks her as she corrects it. I'm like, baby, we aren't even at the house yet, and you've almost fumbled this mission 3 times. Clearly it wasn't meant to be, because I'm like, y'all are finna get re-switched before you even get home. When they get home, it's time to meet our movie's Meredith Blake, and her name is Vicky. So it's like the night that I want to say Sharon first met Vicky, or the day after, whatever, and she calls Susan to be like, yo, like, 911, dad's got a girl. So what are we gonna do about it? And you know, like, you remember the 1998 scene, it's like it's the middle of the night in both places because, you know, they don't want anybody to hear them, and it's even earlier wherever Susan is, because Boston's on the East Coast and California is on the West Coast, and the West Coast is 3 hours behind the East Coast. So even if it's like 11 o'clock in California, it's 2 a.m. here. Or like, I live on the East Coast, so 2 a.m. on the East Coast. So, you know, it's very hush hush. Susan is yelling at the top of her lungs during this conversation, and I don't know if it was just like, you know, they needed to capture the audio or what the hell was going on. She was screaming.
No! Holy smokes, I just had one day with her. I hardly got to know her at all. I want some more time with her. You've had her for 13 years and I just got here. I won't. Do the best you can for a couple of days and stay on Daddy's tail, that's all.
Like, I was like, maybe I'm confused and this isn't a private conversation. Like, maybe I don't know what's going on. Maybe I'm lost. But if you have to set an alarm for like 3, they showed the clock 4 times. I don't remember what time it was. But, you know, for quite early in the morning, I'm assuming these are private conversations. Why the fuck are you yelling? And I mean, yelling to the gods. So the usual things happen, you know, Mitch finally tells Sharon that he's getting, you know, married to this woman. She freaks out. The thing about her freak out that's different than Annie's freak out in the 1998 version is that she starts spilling the beans. She doesn't say like Susan's name, but she's like, all of our plans, all of our hard work, all of the lessons and the teaching, I cut my hair for you, and this, that. I mean, she's saying all of it, like she's saying it all. And I'm like, and the dad's just playing it off as like, oh my gosh, look at how crazy she got. She's just babbling on. I'm like, are you not listening to what she's actually saying to you right now? But number 1 dad of the year. Anyway, Sharon has to call Susan again and be like, okay, like, this is a for real 911. He is marrying this woman. You have to bring mom here. Like, we got to start ramping something up because he's going to marry this girl. So we got to fix it. The thing about this next part that's different from the 1998 film, they straight up go to Homeboys House. Like, they don't all meet at some like hotel resort thing in some other part of California. They pull up to this man's house, and of course he's out with the horses, so he doesn't see them pull up. But I was like, dang, does he know you're coming? And then Maggie's knee-jerk reaction is to take a shower and stay in her bathrobe for a prolonged amount of time, which is weird. And of course, this is the day, you know, Maggie's here now. Both the twins are in the house now. Vicky's coming, Vicky's mom is coming, and the Reverend's coming. So it's a packed house. Every character is here. One of the twins, I honestly, haircut's the same, I don't know which one it was, is like, hey, you know, Vicky's here. Do you want to see her? And the other twin's like, well, no, I've already seen her. And the mom's like, well, I haven't. So that she leaves the room to go look at Vicky, which is fine because they're like kind of hiding about it, not trying to be seen. My problem is that she never changed out of the bathrobe. So she's running around this engaged man's house in a bathrobe. So problem number one, I mean, running around inside, outside, trying to like get a good look at Vicky, blah, blah, blah. We have little scenes where Mitch just stumbles over some chairs, falls in the lake, and he finally comes in, and him and Maggie are like, here. And at first he's like, you know, what do you do? What are you doing here? Why are you here? The whole revelation of you were with Sharon and I was with Susan, and we have to unswitch them, and this, that, and the third. And then the mom, or Maggie, sends them off because she needs to talk to their dad. Within 4 seconds, they're fighting already. Like Maggie and Mitch, the parents. And I'm like, am I supposed to be rooting for them? Why am I rooting for them? I was like, I don't really see what I'm rooting for. I mean, it's been 4 seconds. Babies can't even have a civilized conversation. I was like, I don't think I'm rooting for them. I don't think I was actually meant to root for them. I think this is a joke. What really bothers me is the argument fully starts. I mean, there's like this little mini argument, but you know, Mitch is basically like, hi, can you go put on some real clothes? Cause you're running around my house in a bathrobe. And I thought at first that I was tripping and it was just a a dress that just looked like a bathrobe, and it was just really ugly. You know, 1961, I don't know what the fashion trends were. I don't know what white trends are in the 1960s. So I'm just like, it's a dress. It just looks like a bathrobe. No, like it was really a bathrobe. He was like, can you go put on something decent, like actual clothes? And she's like, I think I do look decent. This isn't your house. This isn't your man. He has a whole fiance outside, and I get it, you know, it's Meredith Blake. We're not supposed to like her. I understand that. But you're making him look bad, and we're supposed to be semi-rooting for Nick as a good person. It's like you're making him look like a bad person, and like it looks like y'all just slept together. He's all soaking wet, tie undone, which we get from the lake, but whatever. It looks like y'all slept together, which obviously didn't happen because he didn't even know you were here. And it looks bad. And she's literally arguing about going to put on clothes. And I'm like, am I supposed to root for her? Who am I rooting for? I want the kids to be happy, but damn, it's looking like mom and dad were meant to split. Cause this is terrible. Then they're arguing, blah, blah, blah. He goes to kind of like push her up the stairs, like, can you go put some clothes on? And she straight punches him in the face. She gives him like one of the, like my mom does this, like if she makes a fist. It's the cutest thing. Punches him in the face. Domestic violence. It was at this point I was really like, we're rooting for them. These two people who can't go 4 seconds without arguing, haven't seen each other in 12 years. Within the first 2 seconds they're arguing, and she just punched him in the face. This couple, I must have missed something because I'm not rooting for them like this. I'm not doing it. So she finally goes upstairs to put some damn clothes on because she's like, well, you know, he's Nick, oh my God. Mitch is a very transparent guy. So he tells Vicky, he's like, yeah, like she's here because twins tricked us and they switched places. So she came to unswitch that. Now they want to meet her. And I don't like this scene because it's too overt for me. Like her rudeness, like the mom, like Maggie's rudeness is too, it's too open. It's too obvious. Like there's nothing subtle about it. And I'm like, why am I rooting for her? On what grounds? Why? I don't understand what would make me want to root for this woman in any aspect. The whole scene was uncomfortable. I was so happy when it ended. I just hated all of it. It is the night of the first date recreation, and it's in this like scene of scenes where the last song comes up, and I was terrified personally watching that scene. I know you guys think I'm being dramatic. I'm really not. I wished so, like, when she was just playing the piano, I was like, perfect. And then Susan came out and I found out that it was gonna be like a skit thing, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then they started like really singing and like really performing, and I hated it so bad. It was terrible. I didn't know what was going on and I wanted it to stop. Oh my God. It stresses me out because it's like, why did you do that to us? Like, the audience. Anyway, song's over. They're left alone to talk, and within 1 minute of them being left alone to talk, they start, guess what? Arguing. Because that's all they know how to do. And I'm, again, at this point, am I rooting for these people to get back together? Is that what I'm supposed to want? Of course, I want these twins to have happy parents. You know, they haven't really given me a reason to not like them. But I don't want them to have a toxic household, which is what it looks like would be the only outcome of this union. So I was just like, you know, I mean, literally just ruin the date and just go ballistic. It was awful. Now it's time for the camping trip. Of course, the scene is still, like I said, relatively the same. The mom's gonna go. She tricks Vicky into going and then ends up not going. The girls are upset about it. As you would be, you weren't supposed to be here. But they're like so loud in her face. Like in the 1998 version, they're like, you know, hi, what is she doing here? And then this movie, when Vicky gets to the car, they're dead. Like, what the fuck is she doing here? Why is she here? There's no whispering. There's no, oh, she's far away. She's right up on the car. And they're just, why is she here? Can someone explain to me why she's, like, I was like, everybody's so obvious. There's no hidden anything. It's just, it's so in your face. The difference in this one is instead of pulling her bed out into the water, they like put honey all over her feet to attract these bear cubs. And so she wakes up to these bear cubs like gnawing at her feet. Not gnawing, they're like licking the honey off her feet, like Winnie the Pooh. And she's like terrified, which is kind of like warranted, but then they run away and she's still screaming for dear life when they're gone, like way gone. So this upsets, you know, this is the last straw. She gets out of her tent and she goes on a rampage. She's knocking over supplies. She's throwing the food in all directions. She's mad. She's like, this is stupid. How can anyone like that? Like all this, she's angry. Mama is angry. And then Mitch comes up and is like, what's tea? Like, are you okay? And she's like, you know, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go. She was like, you're not worth it, kind of thing. And then straight up slaps one of the twins across the face. I was like, grown woman hitting children? Hitting children? And the dad's just, you know, sitting and he just angrily says, hey, she didn't do anything to you. This grown woman just slapped your kid. The energy's here. I need it here. She just slapped her child across the face over some pranks. And I get it, they were childish, but a physical assault. His energy level wasn't there for me. And I'm like, no, we've seen you get mad before. So it's in there. So what the fuck? I'm being robbed. They get back from the camping trip and Mama Mags is in the kitchen. I will never do this again. I'm sorry. She's cooking like stew. It looked like tacos at first. And then when he comes back downstairs, it's stew. I was so upset about that. But she's cooking stew, and basically they send the girls upstairs to, you know, go shower because they look dirty, and her and Mitch are just talking, and I'm sitting on my hands at this point because I'm like, here we go, like another argument. And they actually make it through several sentences without anyone yelling. Imagine my surprise, because I was ready. I was like, here they go again. Here we're fighting. So they get about couple little sentences back and forth at each other, and Mitch is like, I like this. This is good. So he says, I'm gonna go upstairs and I'm gonna wash my hands for dinner. Baby takes a shower, shaves, gets that hair, you know, as right as a white man's hair can look in 1961. He might have put cologne on, I can't remember now. He turns the music on and he gets some wine and looks nice and dapper for a man his age. And then comes back, I mean, does the whole 180 on this poor woman. She was like, you know, damn. All right, let's eat. So she finishes the stew, and there's like two little scenes or two little moments where Mitch is a little touchy, and I was like, I mean, I ain't mad at it. Get your woman now. Get her. Get her.
Oh.
That's what was growing up out here with the cows.
You saw it. I was like, that, especially with the untying and then the slight little slipper, I was like, I had to pause. I'm pretty sure I paused. It's like, oh. I mean, that was cute. I wasn't mad. I wasn't mad. As I paused, I realized we have like 4 or 5 or 7, something like that, minutes left in this movie. I was like, oh shit, where's the time gone? Don't they still have to go back to Boston and they get chased? And then, I'm thinking all this stuff has to happen. Nope, it cuts right here. They're sitting down to eat. And Mitch is like, I miss you. But you know what I miss about you? When he starts naming a bunch of like little stuff. It's, it's like, it's not like I miss your cooking. I miss how you clean the room, like something. It's like little weird things that you wouldn't think somebody would actually miss. And then they get back together right there. And that's the movie. Like, they literally do this awkward, terrible kiss that I wish would have never happened. But that's it. So that was this movie. It's, in the 1998 one are very similar, which is the point. One is better than the other. And it's not a nostalgia thing, because I was very much ready to like this movie more or the same. And it had its moments. Like, it has funny parts. But that was this video. I hope you guys like it. I am so excited for this series. I'm so excited to do this DCOM Diaries thing. I was up like for 2 hours, maybe 3 last night, making a whole list of the movies that I was gonna do, the ones I wasn't gonna do, the ones I was like, okay, if I'm not gonna do it, I gotta talk about it. And I also made a list of Disney movies that aren't actually Disney movies. For instance, like the 1998 Parent Trap and Life Size, Shark Boy and Lava Girl. I think Sky High is on that list, and like Spy Kids. Like, I didn't know those weren't deep. It's just something about them. Spy Kids 3, like, yeah, I like how High School Musical 3 wasn't, but it's like they give such DCOM energy that I just really didn't. It's like they're DCOM. You don't really think much of it. So that is also a series that I will be doing after I finish these DCOM Diaries. So like I said, I'm so excited for this. I hope everybody loves these videos. My next video, we are officially jumping into DCOMs. We'll actually be starting with the second DCOM that Disney made, not the first, because Under Wraps isn't on Disney Plus, even though it was their very first. I don't know how your very first DCOM isn't on your streaming service, but I digress. We'll get over it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please be sure to like this video. Subscribe so you can know when I drop some more DCOM Diaries, and I'll see you later.